Hello, lovely beings, and welcome to another Galactic Mayan Astrology Report. So, this is a Galactic Mayan calendar forecast for Saturday, the 4th of May, 2024. We are moving into a new 13-day process. But big news! A few days ago on Beltane, which is the 1st of May, Taco and I got hand fasted and it was beautiful. Really, really special day. Like the sun in the UK has just not been a thing. But it came back for Beltane and like everything's just burst to life. And it was a tiny ceremony. But like some people from our family were there, like our birth family and also our soul families, and it was in our home. And yeah, it was just phenomenal. So I think I'm still integrating from all of that, like in this very spot where I sit, once we'd actually been bound. All of our friends and family surrounded us and were like touching us and sending us their blessings, whilst one of my closest, dearest sisters was playing her medicine music in the corner. And it was just like, whoa. And I think there's something in the integration. And this is what I'm going to speak into because it feels to be a flavour of the Wavespell that we're moving into as well. So we're moving into on Saturday the 13-day process of the Yellow Warrior. So the Yellow Warrior is a yellow sign. It's Taco's sign actually. And yellows are all about like not refinement. They're about flowering. The whites are on premenstrual. Just FYI. So it's like every couple of videos I'm either premenstrual or bleeding, which obviously brings deep transmission, but also dizziness side effect. That's made me think of my friend Coco. We always end up very deep together, but very ungrounded and dizzy. She's a yellow warrior too. Oh, the codes. So, yellow, flowering, blossoming. Yellow warrior as an archetype. As I've journeyed and journeyed and journeyed and tuned in more and more to the archetypes, the thing that I've kind of distilled from Yellow Warrior, it's about the transformation of victimhood into power. So the Yellow Warrior energy really shows us through initiation what it is to grow into who we have the potential of being. And initiation is something that in the culture that I was raised within doesn't really exist. You know, the rites of passage and stuff like that, just they weren't a thing. But I've spoken about this recently, and I do feel that, you know, whether it was always the case, because who knows, because what was unfolding then, but in the past, but in the present, it feels like just being alive is the initiation, is the rites of passage. But I think the thing that comes through rites of passage ceremonies, it's like the passing on of the toolkit that you need to then be able to move through your own personal initiations. And that's something that the majority of us didn't receive. So the Yellow Warrior is really this energy of like how we are initiated by life and then gather the tools to be able to navigate ourselves. But what can happen in the early stages of the journey is that we just get stuck looping in victimhood. And the more that we loop ourselves in victimhood, the more that we believe that we are victims of a situation or of an event, or the more that muscle builds. And it's extremely difficult then to pop it because it's almost like a virus that infiltrates into everything. But the Yellow Warrior is this like, okay, you are going to be initiated to fuck. You're going to go through many, many, many things. How can you transform it into power? How can you be empowered and not be in denial? And this is one of the like the axes. Fuck knows how you say that. But the two sides of the coin, when it comes to the Yellow Warrior journey and how it, you know, how it manifests, we've got this like the poor me or the dissociation and not feeling it. So it's like, how can we feel the depth of our stories, the depths of our experiences? I think sometimes there's this like thing within the, I don't even know, conscious community, whatever fucking community you want to call it. It's like, oh, don't go into the story. It's like, story with a fucking experience, wasn't it? And to pretend that it didn't happen is to deny it. But how can we not deny it, but also not get stuck in the victimhood of it? So the yellow warrior also is this energy of like the staff that kind of, that puts a solid like boof, this is me, into the ground. And again, this is a part of the yellow warrior. It's like the people that I have journeyed close with, because yellow warrior is a sign that affects me and my signs. It's like, how do we reclaim identity when those around us have decided that our identity is something that is not us? And this like staff of like, this is fucking me and this is my space in the world, is a really big part of the like the next octave of the warrior. And what comes from that reclaimance of space, of self, is then like an unshakable sense of self, because it's been reclaimed. So the yellow warrior really supports us to, interestingly, soften. How can we soften as opposed to harden? When we've been through initiations, when we've been hurt, when we've been misunderstood. And I think this is another really strong piece of the yellow warrior: misunderstanding, being misunderstood. But how can we, as opposed to going into like, fuck everything and fuck the world, and I'm going to protect myself to fuck, how can we soften into, I'm safe because I'm always safe? No matter what's going on, I'm always safe. How can we find that safety? So the yellow warrior also is a really strong teacher about boundaries. It will highlight, are we still struggling with our boundaries? And, again, I think there's a lot of, I don't know how to fucking say it, axes is what I'm trying to say, but there's a lot of like two sides to the yellow warrior. There is with everything, but this thing of boundaries is a very, it's like you go from, it's like pendulum. Let's go with the pendulum instead. You can go from one extreme to the other. So for me, my journey with boundaries was having fuck all boundaries, fighting like fuck to create boundaries, but then almost going a bit too far the other way. And I'm having to soften a little bit, which has been really difficult for me in a masculine. It's kind of like coming into union, coming into relationship after being self-sufficient in my internal world. It's like, okay, I know now that I can speak and I can keep myself safe, but it's like the walls that I learned to build, having had no walls, were fucking high and fucking strong. And now it's like, okay, yeah, you can have those boundaries, but they don't need to keep people out that are coming in love. So the journey of Yellow Warrior, it's a lifetime that we're all in of initiation. This is the energy on the planet right now, is that the human race is being forced to evolve. We've hit that point in consciousness, where evolution rate has gone, okay, we're doing this fucking quickly now. And, quickly in our experience of time might not feel that quick, it's a lifetime, but in the grand scheme of human evolution and human development, a singular human's lifetime is nothing. So we are in this warrior initiation now, and what's unfolding on the planet is this warrior initiation. And the warrior initiation also is about, we've spoken into this victim piece, but if we look at the drama triangle, we've got the victim, we've got the perpetrator, we've got the savior. And again, like this game of human relating at the moment is wanting to keep us moving through these places, moving through these points on the triangle. But really what we get to see is that even the most tricky, challenging, fucking arsehole behavior is always an initiation and a gift. Like it's always, no matter how shadowy something feels, the medicine that it brings to us allows us, if we choose to get off the drama triangle and stop being in victim and getting ourselves comfy in victim and being like, oh my God, woe is me, and oh my God, they are in our bed. If we can really take the medicine that's been given to us, boof, we level up and we're not a match to that anymore. And yeah, we might still be interacting with the state or the person or the whatever, but the way in which we're interacting is completely different because we've got the codes. So every time we interact, we're getting new codes. So everything that we're witnessing on the world stage, this is how humanity becomes sovereign. If we didn't have that, we wouldn't be going through the journey. You know, the whole evolution process has always been about adversity, adaptation through adversity. We grow new fucking limbs because we need to do that. Whereas if there's not the need to do that because the situation isn't pushing us to do it, we won't do the growth. We can't get to the growth, no matter how much we're like, well, yeah, simply desiring, you know, my best life is going to be the thing that's going to push me to evolve. It's like, not really. It's going to be the shit that fucking hurts. It's going to be the suffering that forces us to evolve. And maybe it won't always be like that, but right now it is. So this is a really big part of the yellow human energy. Fuck's sake, man. The yellow warrior energy. Premenstrual brain. It's like a sieve. I feel like part of the transmission that I give here is a real behind the scenes insight into what it is to have a menstrual cycle and how it affects your mind and your body, your mood. So the yellow warrior is this energy of initiation, is this incredible training ground for moving from victim into creator consciousness. And the beauty of taking that reflection, dissolving the person, the situation, or whatever, and just really looking at what is that thing that's coming into me? What is that revealing about me? What is that reflecting about me? Why am I creating this thing? Why am I, as creator consciousness, magnetizing this person, this situation, this event into my reality? What is it that I'm trying to teach myself through this experience? Because once we get that, we've got the warrior transmission. And then it's like, okay, I can use this to level up. And, you know, it's like all of the martial arts stuff. You know, you use the energy against the opponent as opposed to using your own energy. And I'm not saying that we're fighting each other. What I'm saying is that it's all energy. So we're using ourselves or using the other as a reflection to be able to go through this transformation process. Don't make it any fucking easier though. And I think this is a really important thing to remember. It's grimy down here at the minute. It's grimy and it's difficult and it's shadowy and people are hurting and people are actively trying to hurt and all of the mess is strong. So it's not to be taken lightly. It's not that you're not meant to be feeling challenged. It's not that you're not meant to lose your shit. It's not that you're not meant to fuck up. But the other piece of the warrior is like, how do you get back up again and again and again? How do you come back to love again and again and again? How do you find harmony again and again and again? You know, and a good friend of mine, when talking about parenting, you know, it's not about being perfect, it's about the repairing and vulnerability and ownership after. And I think that's true for the whole game. Like, we're not meant to be devoid of feeling, we're not meant to be enlightened if we're still in a body. But what we are invited to be is vulnerable. And vulnerability gives space for connection, and connection gives space for love, and love gives space for more love. And when we're operating and vibrating in love, and not a love that's denial, a love that's integrated and evolving, our experience is so much better. But also what we're doing to kind of repair the destruction within and without is phenomenal. So the Yellow Warrior really is a platform for us to take a look at our lives now. Like, where am I still operating in victimhood? Where am I still giving my power away? Why am I giving my power away? Why do I believe that I'm a victim of this? What can I do? What can I change within myself to come into full ownership of? I've created this situation to learn something, to grow something, and then take the fucking medicine. Take the fucking medicine. Easy said than done. The other piece within the next 13 days is about how do we stand up into our power? Is there a conversation that needs to be had? Is there a no that needs to be claimed? Is there, because the thing is, we're always often avoiding conflict, but conflict can be an incredible portal. So this thing of maybe not expressing ourselves or limiting ourselves because we're scared of what's going to happen next, the expression allows the energy to release, and then whatever happens next is whatever happens next, but the energy's begun to move as opposed to just being clogged. So the other side of the warrior is the resiliency that comes, once you've kind of been through everything, you can't really be harmed anymore. So what that brings is a feeling of safety that's like no other. And I think also within this Wavespell, just giving ourselves permission, space, time to honor our journeys, to honor what it takes to be here now, to honor what it is that we have journeyed in this lifetime. But again, to do a little bit of reflection of like, am I still feeling victimized within this story? And I've been on a huge journey with my dad. I don't think he would ever watch this, so I won't go into too much detail. This lifetime, and to the bad shit went down when I was younger. Then I had a lot of years of like, well, we didn't speak for a while, actively not okay, so much anger, so much pain, so much of life that we didn't get to journey together. And he was at my hand fasting, and I love him, actively love him, not love him in spite of. I love that man, and I understand him, and I am grateful for everything that he allowed me to experience in this lifetime. I'm grateful for our soul contract, and I see his heart and I feel his heart, and I'm not trying shit, it's not a like, oh, I've forgiven him and I'm dissociated as fuck. It's a genuine like, whoa, our journey has been fucking huge and an absolute gift. So how can we get to the place where our experiences are reframed like that? It's not something that you can just write in your notebook and it's done. It's active work, and this is a part of the warrior. It's not just like present, moving from victim to creator, coming out of the drama triangle. It's also personal history, reframing the whole personal history and freeing yourself and reclaiming your power and being like, whoa, this is rad. My soul came to bring a human into a feeling of liberation that unlocks creator consciousness. as the way that consciousness moves through the human vessel in this reality is what creates the reality. And at the moment, the collective has been looping in a victim story, hence manifesting victimization stories left, right, and center. If we can break the victim code inside of us, that's one more free human. One more, one more, one more, one more critical mass. So I hope that you have a wonderful wave spell. Warrior initiation, the gentle warrior, the heart warrior, the soft warrior that shall not be fucked with. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye, darlings.